I added this gorgeous, gorgeous bird bath to the back of my kitchen garden area a couple of weeks ago, and my goodness, this is the spot for the birds to be during the hot days. They love this area right here with this water feature, and I find myself having to clean it almost every day. The water gets really, really nasty. By the end of the day, it's just very, very muddy and dark. So that's just my life right now. Cleaning bird baths, planting seeds, and doing a little bit of harvest here and there. But one of the things that I'm going to do today that I want to show you is that I am going to be I'm going to be planting cucumbers on this bed. This is the bed that I think that I got, I don't know, questionable soil when I first filled it in last year. Mainly because my plants really are doing really bad. I'm gonna bring you closer here in a minute to show you some of the things that I have growing. All of these sunflowers are volunteers, which I love, but this right here at the end of this bed, which won't be giving shade to anything on the back, this is where I'm going to be planting a bunch of cucumbers. The cabbages, the 3 cabbages that I have growing there in the front of this bed are kind of finally, since I planted them in the early spring, they're finally doing something. They look like they're doing something. But I also notice that I have things there. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but I have some things there that are just starting to eat the leaves of it. And if we continue, you can see that I have my snapdragons growing there. They're doing really bad. Like, they are not growing at all. They just look so sad. I don't know why that is. I don't know why this bed is just not helping my plants thrive. The 2 Brussels sprouts that I have there, they're doing okay. They're growing, I think. I am not normally one that grows a lot of brassicas, although I did have great results with broccoli on my green stacks this year. As far as Brussels sprouts, cabbage, I don't know. They don't do well for me. And right there on the back, that kale, ugh, it is so small as well. But those few sunflowers that you see they're growing, those are all volunteers, and I am definitely letting them be. This right here is the trellis that I am going to be adding to the end of this bed. I got this at Menards. I believe it was about $35. It matches really well with my arbor, with the trellises, with the square looks that I have going on here in my kitchen garden. Just to give you an idea of the space that I have back here at the end of the bed, it isn't that big. I removed some weeds that were growing there, and I will say I have about, I don't know, a good 7 inches of space, but that's going to be plenty. Really, the cucumbers are going to be growing up, so all I need is for the roots to find a place, and then giving them a trellis is really going to help. This bed, the width of this bed is 2 feet wide, and the width of this trellis is 21 inches, so it's just the perfect size for this. So the only thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this. It has a good, I don't know, maybe 18 inches of feet, and that is perfect because then I don't have to do much work. I wonder if I have a piece of wood there. That's why I can't go closer. So now this is a little bit too flimsy for my like. It's nice against the wall of the back of the bed, but I am going to grab a couple of clamps, 1/2 inch clamps that I have, or 1 inch clamps that I have. And I am going to put one on each side, inside of the bed. That way, this thing is nice and solid. These right here are the cucumbers that I am going to be planting. I got these at, I think it was my local Menards. Love Menards. The variety that I have here is different from the ones that I currently have growing. This is the variety that I am growing. Hopefully you can see there. It is a very soft skin cucumber. I tried some of these, not this exact same variety last year, but it's very, very similar. So I'm excited to see how they do. The sun keeps going in and out. By the way, whenever I buy plants, cucumbers, basil, or really any other plant that I am going to be transplanting, I always look for the ones that have multiple plants grown in them, because most of the time, 99.9% of the time, I can easily divide them. So right here, I am simply going to separate this in two. I am not going to try to separate all 4 of them. But right here, I have 2 plants that are probably going to do really, really well. And this right here, I'm not even going to try to separate it, but I could if I had the space. The width of this bed is only 2 feet long, so I am thinking that having 3 cucumber plants there is going to be plenty. So the plants, the cucumber plants, are nicely tied in there. They're nice and cozy. Hopefully they'll thrive and they'll go up this trellis. I am going to be giving them water here and there. We just had a lot of rain yesterday, so the soil is nice and moist. It's very workable. We'll see how these cucumbers plants do with this soil. Again, I'm very positive that the soil, the quality of the soil that I use for filling up this bed is the reason why my plants don't thrive in this one. So fingers crossed. That trellis, I am really liking that trellis, and for $35, heck yeah, it matches with everything that I have going on here. This right here is my raspberry patch. If you remember, early in the spring, I put 9 raspberry plants here, and they're very slow to get going. Actually, one of them, I'm not even sure that it's doing anything. That lonely stick right there, it doesn't show any growth. There is growth right there, but it could be that it's next to this other stick that I put there. I don't know how raspberry plants normally grow, but the ones that I have here are really slow to get going. If you have experience with planting bare root raspberries, I will appreciate if you leave me a comment. Is this normal? Do they just take their sweet time getting through the soil? Other than the very slow growth, I mean, I think that these plants are just doing really well. They look very healthy. In one of my raised beds, in the end of this raised bed, I planted 2 tomatillo plants, and it's so funny to me. Tomatillo plants are, some years I feel like they're amazing, they grow really quick. In some other years, they just take their time before they actually produce any fruit. Let me get you closer to these 2. This one is, I mean, very reaching 2 feet tall. I think that is maybe about 20 inches tall. Let me show you the amount of tomatillos that this plant has on them. This plant is loaded with tomatillos. It's so funny to me how some years are very different for certain vegetables, and I mean, it's all fine. I welcome everything here. And because these guys are going to get really huge pretty soon, I am going to add this obelisk that I also got at Menards. By now you probably already know I love Menards. Okay, irrigation is safe, it's all good. So as these plants grow, I am going to sort of help the plants or the branches go up this layer here. And once they're grown, I mean, this thing is just going to be a nice anchor. I may actually have to get one more, or maybe I can just tie a string from this end to my 4x4 black post that I have there to kind of keep the other one kind of in place. Yeah, I think I'll use the string. Nice. Everything that is growing in my raised beds is just doing so amazing. Tomato plants, green beans, herbs, ginger, cilantro. Half of my cilantro is going to flower, and that's fine. It's just that time of the year. I do have plans to try to direct sow a bunch of cilantro seeds in a little bit of shade, and most of the years I get a nice harvest. Not as much as I will get in the spring, but anything helps. The tomatoes are growing very nicely up the strings. We have had a nice combination of sunshine and rain, and that really helps make things better in the garden. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope that you have an amazing time in your garden.